I have been using Obsidian for over 4 years, and after more than 700 notes, these are the 4 most important lessons that I learned the hard way. Lessons that will save you from wasting time trying to perfect a system you will never use. I will cover some of the trickiest parts of Obsidian, like organization, the tags, and even what to write about. In fact, I will show you how I connect my ideas together using a real project as an example. My first point is incredibly important for beginners, and it might be shocking to hear. Focus on writing, not the system. The beauty of Obsidian is that it's as simple as you want it to be. You can create a piece of blank page and begin, or you can add a plugins, database, and custom code. The real problem is when you keep focusing on the system instead of taking note. I'll give you an example to illustrate this point. 6 years ago, when I wanted to get into Notion, I was obsessed with finding the perfect system and structure because I like things to be perfect from the very beginning. So I spent hours watching YouTube videos instead of actually using the software. And when I finally get into it, I realized I didn't need most of the advanced features for what I do. The point I wish to make is this: don't look for solution to problems you don't have. Now with Obsidian, I did things differently. I created a piece of note so I can write my YouTube script. Later, I thought it made sense to add a specific folder for YouTube videos. So I did that. And I also started using the link features to connect related ideas. Then I needed a word counter plugin that would count words for a specific paragraph. So I installed it. You see, I solve a problem as they arrived instead of trying to figure out the whole ecosystem, because my goal was never to learn the software, but to improve my writing, note taking, and connecting ideas. That leads to point number 2. What should you write about and how to connect ideas? This is easy to figure out if you know why you are writing, because everyone has different goals and purpose. In my case, I see writing as a problem solving and a tool to learn more about the topics that interest me. And I write 1 hour a day every day. And there are 2 kinds of writing that take place. Number 1, taking notes, and number 2, connecting ideas. So 90% of my notes come from books and other 10% is from random sources. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Let's say I am working on a project titled Why YouTube is the Junk Food of Education. In one of the sections, I want to argue that watching YouTube videos gives you the illusion of competence. Now imagine I have read Phaedrus and I took a note about how Socrates criticized the invention of writing because he believed it would create the illusion of wisdom instead of real understanding. I can pull that note and connect it to this project. This way I can approach the same problem from different angle and build a stronger, more thoughtful, and more eloquent argument. So this is how I take my notes when I read and connect my ideas later. Point number 3. Name notes the way you'd actually search for them. 6 months from now, you'll probably have more than 100 or 200 notes. And in 2 or 3 years, you'll have thousands. Naturally, you won't go through folders to look for your notes. You will search. You see, at the beginning, I made the mistakes of relying too much on tags, only to realize that I'm not using them. So after a year, I completely stopped using tags because most of the time I actually forgot which tag I used for what. And it felt like extra work with no payoff. And when I do need something, I don't think, well, let me check my writing text to find the ADA framework. I just search and it shows up. So before naming a note, ask yourself, what would I type into search if I need this later? If you wouldn't naturally search those words, change the title. Your note system should speak your language, not some ideal organizational structure. Lesson number 4, linking versus folders. One of the biggest reasons I picked up Obsidian was because of its powerful linking features. As I showed you previously how it helps me connect my ideas and improve my writing. That doesn't mean I don't use folders. I have specific folders for the books I read, YouTube videos I make, and the notes I take. Here is the catch. When you have folders for ideas, it forces you to think about where does this note belong. But the problem is most ideas don't belong in just one place. And when you try to organize by folders, you will confuse yourself. And over time, you stop remembering what's in each folder. The structure that made sense today, 6 months from now, it feels arbitrary. I solved this problem by creating a folder called Notes. And this is actually where all of my note goes. And later, when I write on a specific project, let's say I'm writing an essay or I'm making a YouTube video, I make the connections. The point is you can create folder, but make sure they don't get in the way of your note taking and thinking. So these are the 4 lessons I've learned the hard way after experimenting with a lot of ways to make my note taking better. If you find this video helpful, subscribe and I will see you in the next video.